You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about how we move on in life. When something happens and it's a big event and it throws us off course and we're not sure what direction we're going to go in, we feel a little bit lost in life. How do we move on from that? How do we get past anger, frustration of another person? How do we leave a job? How do we move on from toxic relationships? All of that is bundled into living life full out. How do you move on and really grab hold of who you want to be and the life that you want to have? I am a big visionary person. I really believe in it. So it's really understanding, what are you working for? What are you striving for? Kind of keeping the end in mind. Also, we're going to be taking your calls. So I want you to feel free to call in so we can give you the life coaching that you need to move on, to give you those action steps. We're going to be joined by our inspirational guest. Oh gosh, her story is so amazing. Nikki Cross. Honestly, it is really tugs on your heart. But at the same time, the fact that she got through being abducted, molested, talk about feeling lost, but she found her way home again. And it's a treasured story that I can't wait to share with you. If you need resources on today's topic, I want you to reach out to us. Again, that's connect@livingfullout.com. And also, if you have an inspirational story, we'd love to hear from you. And maybe we'll get you on the show and you'll be able to share that story with our community. Again, that email is connect@livingfullout.com. So over the course of our show today, think about where in your life you need to move on, and then let us help guide you to give you the resources, the motivation to do that. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we have a caller on the line. We're going to go ahead and say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi, I just had a question. I'm going to school, working, trying to go to the gym as well. And I wanted to learn how to balance all of that without procrastinating any of my work. I work in physical therapy and also falling behind in schoolwork.
You know what? Balancing life is tough. It really is, because sometimes the unexpected pops up, right? We can have a plan, a to-do list, a schedule, but things will always come up in the day that we weren't prepared for. The thing is it's all about kind of managing your time. So knowing that there's the things you need to do, right? You have to do them. You have to go to school to get your degree. You have to make money to pay for the bills. You have to work out to stay in shape. But then there's the other things that you might want to do. So it's really about prioritizing, but then also buffering in time for those unexpecteds, because they're always going to come up. So you want to hold to a schedule to keep you on course, but at the same time, leave a little flexibility in there so you can move things around. Do you hold to a schedule?
Yes, I try to.
Okay. Now, let's talk about that. I try to. What I want you to work on is talking to yourself in the most positive way you can. I'm not saying you have to be like over the top, Brady Bunch cheer, that kind of thing. But I want you to really focus on, try to take words out like try, I hope, maybe, I might. Those are all kind of wishy-washy words. You want to talk with more conviction. I will. I believe in myself. I deserve it. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you start your day at the beginning, if you kind of go into it hoping, trying, wanting, you want to be more assertive. I will go to the gym. My plan is to get my homework done by a certain time. Just really assertive with what you want to accomplish in the day. And I think if you make those switches, you take a schedule and then you couple that with talking positively with assertive words, I have no doubt that the procrastination will become less and less. It's never going to go away, but it won't dominate you. Is that something you can try?
Yes, of course. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You as well.
Take care. Thank you. And I love that she called in about prioritizing, scheduling, because we've all been that procrastinator. I can think of at least 5 things in my life right now where I've pushed them off. So even she has taught me today, Nancy, get on the ball, right? We're all in it together. We all have these same traps, these pitfalls that we have to look out for. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for calling. How can we help you?
So I'm going to college next year, and I'm really nervous. So I want to know how to help calm those nerves.
Well, let me ask you a question. What are you so nervous about? What do you think could happen that might feel unsettling to you?
I'm nervous about the amount of schoolwork and about finding friends.
Mm-hmm. Those are 2 biggies, huh? Let's talk about those, right? So, have you ever been overwhelmed with schoolwork before?
Yes, I have.
Right? And you survived, right? I'm talking to you today. You lived through it. So, you have to keep in mind that overwhelming feeling, the demands of schoolwork, that's going to come up. Just welcome it with open arms. Say, I know those days are coming. But if you try to pretend like they might not happen, or, if you set your expectations too high, then you can get disappointed. So just know they're going to come. Know that you survived those long days before, and you will again. Now, the other topic about making friends, do you have friends now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have good friends?
I have one really good friend.
One really good friend. See, and wouldn't you like to have another one?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So the good thing is, what I love about change in life and kind of opening new doors to opportunities is right now, you only know who you know, right? Whoever you have been going to school with, whoever you have been hanging out with, that's kind of been it. But now when you go to school, there's going to be all new people for you to meet. And I have no doubt you'll be meeting another really good friend. I bet many good friends. Some of my best friends are my college friends, to be honest. So I would look at this new adventure, not scared, worried, with anxiety in your heart, but more like, oh my gosh, I'm going to finally get a degree. I'm going to live a life of purpose, doing something I enjoy as a career. I'm going to meet and have really good friends. That's exciting, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, say it with a little bit more energy. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Exactly. Here's the deal. If you're not excited about your life, if you're not putting that positive energy out there, then it's not going to build. The momentum won't be strengthening. So you want to go after it with vigor, with excitement, and that's truly what the living full out spirit is. Okay? So you're going to do great.
Okay.
I have no doubt. Let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling in.
Bye.
Bye. I love that both of these callers today so far are really embracing, what can I do to move on? What can I do to live on purpose, to go after my dreams and goals? And as we go through this show, I want you to think about that as well. Like I said, I am raising my hand. There are things that I need to do even to move on, to further develop. We all are in that same place. But the thing is we have to look out for what holds us back. Maybe even times that we self-sabotage ourselves, like if we procrastinate, if we talk negatively to ourselves, if we set our expectations too high that we can't achieve them. You want to look at life in a way that's a little bit more controlled. Take on tasks with like little benchmarks in mind, little deadlines in mind. And when you successfully do something, I want you to celebrate that milestone. A lot of times we think that we have to celebrate only the big things, anniversaries, birthdays, and so forth. I want you to also celebrate the small things. If you say to yourself, I want to go to the gym 3 times this week, and you do it, celebrate. Maybe don't celebrate with a pizza. It's going to set you backwards, but celebrate with something that brings you joy. And if you do that, that is how you move on. Because now you're in the driver's seat. You're not being controlled by all these external factors and the woulda, coulda, shouldas. You're saying, yes, this is going to happen, and I'm so excited to go after it. That is living full out. That is how you move on. So when we come back, we're going to be joined by our inspirational guest, Nikki Cross. Again, while her story is so tender and so really eye-opening for all of us to be educated on abduction and what that's like, she's going to inspire you. She's going to have you look at your life a little bit differently, I promise. So stay with us, and we'll be coming right back. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and we're talking about moving on, how we go after life in a big way. How do we grab hold of our dreams and goals? It's all possible. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
It's not I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite. Look out! And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about how to move on in life. I mean, those words are just easy to roll off the tongue, but how do you do that? What steps are required to get back to who we are and to find our passions again when there's times where we feel so lost and stuck in life? And our inspirational guest today, Nikki Cross, she hits all of those points and beyond. Her story is one that I really want you to listen closely to because she lived torture. She lived being abused, but she found her way home. And they say home is where the heart is, and we all have that ability to come home within ourselves, our faith, our passion. So I would like to welcome Nikki to the show.
Thank you, you sweet lady.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, man, I'm going to walk around all day saying I got called sweet lady today. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. There's so much I want to share with our audience about your story. And so I want to kind of touch briefly on the fact that, I know you were, molested by a family member at 9, and that really kicked off this spiral of abuse and not silencing yourself, not being able to tell people what was really going on. And that's what really got you to that place where you felt disconnected from your family, from even who you are at like age 15. Can you just share with us very briefly the abuse that you encountered between 9 and 15?
Well, Nancy, I don't think you could have put it any better. I don't think I could have put it any better as the abuse at 9 that happened by an older cousin is really where it started to springboard everything that started spiraling out of hand. As you said, I was molested by a family member. I was raised in a very conservative Christian community, home, and there was a lot of it was almost dyslexic. It was like, when Jesus talked to the woman that they wanted to stone, and he said, he without sin, throw the first stone. Well, they all walked away. And he said to her, I don't condemn you. Where are your accusers? I don't condemn you. Go and sin no more. But that community that I was raised in almost had the mentality of go sin no more, and then I won't condemn you. And, as a 9-year-old child, I felt like, well, only bad things will happen to bad things won't happen to good girls. Mm-hmm. And that was just reinforced over and over and over. So when this happened to me, I was just devastated. I could not tell my parents. A, it was a family member, didn't want a family feud. B, he told me they'd never believe me, that, that I was just I was this cheerful little chirpy kid that was always getting into mischief, but I wasn't a bad kid,
Yeah.
And he said, they'll believe me before they believe you. And, there were times that
those words,
me that,
I was going to say those.
Go ahead.
Those words probably not only rang in your head, but started to ring in your heart. And I want to jump to, 15, you encountered this molestation for years. And then at 15, you just kind of put your hands in the air and started turning to other substances to free you from that pain, alcohol and dibble-dabbling with different drugs. But it was at 15, yeah, and we can all imagine, needing that outlet, just take me away from the pain. But it was those outlets, those drugs, the alcohol, the wrong people, that actually guided you into the arms of your next abuser. Can you share with us how you met him?
I can. And actually, when you hurt, you need anesthesia of some sort. whether it's acceptance, whether it's counseling, whether it's faith, you've got to have something that takes that pain away. So, I mean, I started with the drugs as early as 12, 13, which caused a lot of fights between my family and I. And so I didn't want to hear the bickering, so I'd run away. Every time I'd run away, they'd bring me back. Finally, I ran away, and I got as far as Columbus, Georgia. And, you know, I'd always been a singer. I'd always wanted to pursue the music career. And this guy, even though I was 15 years old in this bar, anybody in a right mind could see, even though I had high heels and long lashes, that I was just a child. But, you know, they let me drink. They let me get on the stage and sing. Well, this guy saw that as my button. You know, these groomers are so savvy. Mm-hmm. So, you know, making a very long story short, the gist of it was he started to groom me by buying gifts and making promises and, you know, that he was falling for me. And finally it got around to Thanksgiving, and he said, you know, my mother's got a lot of money. And, you know, and being that he had been buying me all of these things and just whipping out $100 bills left and right, I'm thinking, I believe him. Why wouldn't I believe him? And he said, if you come home with me to Thanksgiving to Akron, Ohio, I will speak to my mother, and the minute she hears your voice, we're going to do an album, and she's got connections, and you're going to be in there. Everything that a 15-year-old that feels validated and used up and not worthy wants to hear. And that's the reason so many young people end up getting trapped in situations, because they want someone to validate their dreams. But if it sounds too good to be true, more than likely it is.
Well, and we all know that lesson, and sometimes we have to live it to really experience it. But I hear you on that. And the thing is you did believe him. Like so many groomers, you said yes. You went to Ohio to this supposed Thanksgiving dinner. But take us to when you first got to the house. This you know, welcoming mom, she was not that lady, was she?
Oh no. When we first drove up in the yard, I can remember looking at the house. It wasn't, you know, a dump, but it just did not look like the house of someone who had the wealth that he claimed.
Exactly. And, hey, Nikki, I want to pause here because we have to take a commercial break. But I want everybody to picture all these lies that she was fed, all this hopes and dreams that she had in her heart, thinking this was her moment, her shot, maybe a family that would embrace her, you know, let her live out her dreams. And she shows up to this house that is everything opposite of what she was promised. So we're going to come right back after the break and pick up here. So stay with us. And everybody, we're talking today about moving on. How do you do that when you feel as though somebody's taken advantage of you? Life is giving you way more downs than ups. So stay with us. It's all about living full out today. I'm Nancy Solari. We'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And we're continuing our interview with our inspirational guest today, Nikki Cross, who was molested by a family member at 9. Tragic as that was, she then went on to meet someone who she felt was her boyfriend at 15, only to be abducted and taken to Ohio, which is where we're picking up on her story now. So, Nikki, I'd like to welcome you back to the show.
Thank you.
And here you were, you thought this was, your dream boat, the guy who was going to make all your music dreams come true, bringing him to your mom, bringing him home. And then you get there and you realize this house is a mess. And when you walk in, this lady, she's in a wheelchair. She's not nice. And actually, you had the temptation to want to leave. You just kind of got that, hairs on the back of your neck feeling. But they didn't let you leave. What happened? When did you know you were trapped?
It's kind of like one of the detectives that I work with. He says that I have spidey senses. Well, I guess they weren't quite honed enough at that time. But I reached for the back door to leave. Here I am thousands of miles from home. Don't know where I'm going to go. They're still on the ground. But I just knew I needed to get out of there because I could just sense something not good was going to happen. And as I reached for the door, someone's arms went around my waist, and, it's probably 90 pounds soaking wet. And the woman sitting at the table said, "Take it," not her, "take it upstairs." They took me up to a third-floor attic, threw me in. It was pitch black. They locked the door, but they threw me across the room so I couldn't get to the door before they locked it. I sat there for a while, and as my eyes started to adjust, I beat and screamed and yelled and kicked, and I got this plan in my head that I was going to slide up against the wall that faced the door, and as soon as they opened it, I was going to kick them down the hall, down the stairway. Mind you, taking me up, I was fighting the wall all the way, scratching the walls, holding on to the rails until they would take brass knuckles and just beat my knuckles raw till I would let go. But once I just kind of exhausted myself and kind of slid down and sat by the floor, my eyes started to adjusting, and I saw two young figures huddled together in a corner. And I kept hearing this tinkling sound that I couldn't quite make out. It was familiar, but yet not. And the young girl, who was just a little older than me, and her brother, who was deaf, and he was much younger. He was about 12 or 13. She said to me, don't fight back, and they won't beat you so bad. And I said, I'm not staying here. I'm not staying here. And when they opened the door, and of course, this wasn't their first rodeo, I kicked out. They were on the second step back, which gave them the advantage to both grab a leg. They drugged me over to, it was supposed to be a mattress, but it was basically about the size of a yoga mat. And we had these very raggedy, thin sheets that were hung up between us for supposed privacy. And I knew this was not good.
Yeah.
And all three of these men, including my abductor / boyfriend, sexually assaulted me several times. And the one word that I remember him saying is, "Well, we've got her seasoned now. Work starts tomorrow." And I had no idea what he was talking about. I never saw money pass between anybody's hands. But day after day, night after night, there would be men that would come and do some of the most heinous acts. And the reason I couldn't get up and get out is because they had shackled me by my right ankle, bolted to the floor, and I would just beg, please. There was a guy there that he was being labor trafficked because he was so addicted to drugs that he would sling the plates of dog food to us. We had a bucket. That was the communal toilet, and you had no privacy. Whatever was going on, that's where it happened.
and you endured this day after day, night after night. And, in fact, there was one time when you did get beat up, and Daryl beat you up pretty hard, and you were actually blacked out for days. What did the girl tell you when you finally woke up? What did she say happened over those days?
Well, it was morning when this happened, because I had done something that displeased him, and he beat me in the head with a wooden clog shoe. And when I woke up, I had blood running out of my ears, my nose, busted lip, and Jenny looked over at me, and I said, "It's dark outside. How many hours was I unconscious?" And she said, "Honey, you weren't out for hours. You were gone for days, but the men kept coming." And
Nikki,
evil is just evil.
Yeah, and when I hear you say those words, I mean, my heart goes out to you, that 15-year-old girl. Like, I just want to grab her and hug her and get her out of there. But you couldn't, it wasn't that easy. You couldn't just get out of there. But a plan did occur over time. You know, John wrestled with the fact that he just couldn't see you or even the other two siblings get beat up anymore. What was his plan?
Well, he had, it was all about money for Daryl. And so he whispered to me one night, "You don't belong here. I've got to get you out." So he gave Daryl this plan of, let's take her downtown Akron to, and I don't remember the name of the bar. He said, but I'll sit with her and you work the room. And he said, they don't know what we charge here. He said, so, you can make it whatever you want it to be. So he comes back, and little did I know that John had hatched a plan. He had gone to a friend who knew a man that he felt had integrity, and a woman that would come with him. And he had told me, he said, when you get the opportunity, run out the back door, because the idea was that they were going to take me to the van parked in the back, and John was going to stand there and collect money. When Daryl came back, he said, I said I needed to use the restroom, and he said, you know what? I'm so tired of you making trouble for me. And he was highly inebriated. And he pulled his knife out right there in the middle of the bar, grabbed me by the hair, and started dragging me out the back. And he said, I'm just going to cut your throat like I should have done the first time you gave me trouble, and throw you in the dumpster like the piece of, you can imagine, expletive that you are. And as we got down the hallway, two women came out of the bathroom, bumped into him. He was already ready to explode. They got into a confrontation. The knife flipped. He lost his grip. I knew I wasn't going out the back, so I ran out the front, not even thinking about what John's words were. And there was a truck sitting there idling, and a man named Buster said, if you're Nikki, we need to go. Come on, get in the car or get in the truck. And I just stood there. I was numb. It was like, I'm scared. I don't trust anybody. And this woman gets out of the truck, and she walks me over to the truck, and she says, it's okay. Nobody's going to do this to you again. You don't have to worry. And ultimately, it ended up being the woman that literally saved my life, and her name was Chrissy. Buster has gone on to be with the Lord now, but I had the most incredible surprise. I was on a TV show a few weeks back, and they had flown Chrissy in for us to reunite. It was the first time in almost 44 years we'd seen each other's face since the day that the policeman took me to the bus station.
What an angel for her to actually step into your life at that time. Now, I know that, eventually you did get home and you did reunite with your parents. And how we're talking about moving on today, Nikki. How did you move on? How does one move on and be able to put that behind them and actually live a happy life? Is happiness even possible?
Oh, yes, it is. Joy unimaginable, because I'll tell you, it took a long time, and it is a process, just like a death. You're grieving. But I woke up one morning, and I just really felt the Lord ask me, what are you going to be, scabbed or scarred? And, if we stay scabbed and hold on to those ugly memories, and we just woe is me every day, we never grow beyond it. We're always in that place. Scars, we know where they come from. We remember how it happened, but they don't hurt anymore. And so I decided that, I was going to use what the world had abused. And I took my experience and started working with women 28 years ago with STAR Ministry, STAAR, Stop the Abuse and Rescue. And there's been thousands and thousands of women that have come to know freedom, and that it's okay if you get triggered. You're not stuck there. It's a moment.
Well, and I think that's the biggest gift that you can give yourself is to acknowledge those scars, but to look forward into the future and just know that, a happy, loving life is possible. And I so appreciate you sharing your story with us today. I mean, we're kind of at the end of it here, but I'm so blessed to have met you and to have you on the show. And we thank you so much for sharing your story.
Well, I appreciate so much that you have allowed me to share, and would love to come back and talk with you anytime, Nancy. You are an angel.
We will do that. Thank you so much, Nikki. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Great day for you too as well.
Thank you. Her story is so amazing in many ways, but see how she did move on? You can too. It is never too late. And that is our focus today. We want to give you that momentum, give you that action plan. So we'll be coming right back after this break. Again, continuing our conversation of how do we move on? How do we live full out in life? Knowing that it is never too late. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be back.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're gonna jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9" booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on and lost cats stick to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a Lost Cat Magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
We're your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll. take.
Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
When looking to move on in life past torture, pain, loss, it is possible. You just always have to remember to believe in the good within yourself and others. Find ways to be supported. Always trust your instincts. And most of all, never give up. You want to be resilient, tenacious. That's what it means to live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back again to the show. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out show. And we've been talking about how to move on. And I think our inspirational guest gave us some great advice at the end that the choice is yours, really. You can allow the past to beat you up, haunt you, pull you backwards, or you can live in the moment and really relish in what is good today, knowing that hurdles will come, losses will also keep on coming, but the good will over-trump that. You'll be able to go to places in your life where you experience excitement and laughter and hope. So never forget that. Now, I'm getting word from a producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, thank you for calling. So what's going on today? How can we help you?
Well, I was actually just listening to what you had to say, and I found it very appropriate. I've been working a job for the last several months that I spend more and more time at because of the type of work that we do, and I feel that I'm spending more of my life at a job that I'm not enjoying in a very stressful situation and struggling with, there's got to be more to life than this. This isn't how I want to spend every single day of my life, working 9-10 hours a day, 6 days a week, for people that I don't necessarily respect. So I think it's appropriate, the theme of today's show, about living in the moment, and that's what I'm struggling with, is how to move forward.
Well, I'm just curious, I'm just curious, when you close your eyes at night, when you daydream, when you think about what you'd like to be doing, what is that?
Well, I'd love to do photography with my sister. I'd love to travel more. I'd love to spend more time with my kids and do more than just be at work.
Here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you to find in your local area, or it could be, nationally, and just have a conversation over the phone rather than in person. But if you can have it in person, all the better. I want you to find photographers that you respect. And I want you to interview them by phone or in person and just kind of get the lay of the land for how they got to where they are. And even if you can find someone who, as a career, has blended photography and traveling, maybe contacting someone who works at National Geographic even, never hold yourself back. Don't think that people won't want to talk to you, because people who have made it, people who are successful, they want to give you the lessons. They want to make your life easier. You're not seen as competition, but they're helping to contribute, pay it forward. I want you to find those people and interview them. And if you can't talk to them by phone or email, then by phone or in person, then I at least want you to email them. Don't make it a long email, top 2 or 3 questions. But you want to get as much information as to what you need to do to live that life that you want. But I believe it is absolutely possible. And when you establish the vision for what you want, when it's a little bit more crystallized, and when you interview people and you figure out the steps required to live that dream, that vision, now the days, the hours that you're at your current job will become more manageable. You'll be able to slowly let go emotionally. The things that are painful or burdens to you now, they won't have as much control over you, because you know that there's an end in sight, Right now, it kind of feels like it's a life sentence. Like, what is this next thing? Right?
That's true.
So
no, that's very true.
Take your power back. And how you take your power back is you plan. You put a strategy together. You hold that vision near and dear to your heart. You even share it with friends and family that can keep you accountable to leaving your current job and starting that new one. And then if you really can't handle this current job, then you know what? Ante up, bet on yourself. Like if you were in Vegas, would you bet on yourself and say, you know what? I'm going to leave this job. I'm going to get a different job. May not be my dream job, but it's still going to pay the bills. And that will be my stepping stone. Don't ever feel like you have to settle for being abused, tortured, emotionally, put down, not valued, not appreciated. You don't need that. That doesn't serve you. How does that sound?
Sounds great to me. Thank you.
You think you can do it?
I think I can, yes. Thank you so much.
Well, I believe in you. Honestly, I'm excited. I want you to make sure to call back into the show. And who knows, maybe we'll see you on National Geographic, right? Who knows? So go out there, have fun, live your life of purpose, live full out. Okay?
I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
And I really want to thank everybody who called in today. Such great questions about how do you move on. And for everybody who didn't get to call in and chat with me, feel free to reach out to us because we can give you the coaching that you need. Just call us at Living Full Out, 310-909-7800. We will make sure to give you that support. Most of all, I just adore you all. Our team here, Rich and Roger and Riley and Amanda and Kristen and all the people that are dedicated to helping you live your life full out. We will see you next week. Move on. Remember, that's our theme. It's never too late to step out there and go for it. See you next week. Here's to you living your life full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.